Let me catch you up on the project I've been working on recently. I've decided to create an action figure of the character Archduke Charlemagne Bolivar from the show Andromeda. Here's what I got so far. He's turning out quite good, and I only have a few little details left for him to finish up his full outfit. This draft right here is my first sloppy copy of what I planned on doing, what I noticed about the character, and just kind of exploring what I wanted to do for the action figure. I started with the coat that was most important to me and have decided to take a little break from that for the moment because the sleeves are giving me a little bit of a challenge. There are these epaulets, I think that's how you say it, and these cuffs, and these other cuffs. All of that adds a lot of challenge, and I am creating, or have created, a lot of drafts so far. This bag here is all my drafts and templates I've been using so far for his sleeves. I have another bag here of stuff of just 1/12 scale jackets and backs and flaps and different materials I've tried and different methods of doing things. I'm certainly happy with his little vest, mock wrap vest already. I'm happy with his little turtleneck underneath. I'm happy with this figure body. I think it's good enough or okay. The head I have on here is a head that was 3D printed by a guy named James who lives in the UK. It's just a spike head that I've hand painted. So I painted all these little details. I don't know if this shows off the hours I spent into creating these details and the things I've looked into to better understand natural facial features and like theater makeup and things like that, just to make his face look like Charlemagne Bolivar instead of like Spike. And I haven't quite finished. Actually, what I started with was this one, because it actually is Spike. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make Spike. He's tan, though, because I was trying to match. I was playing around with flesh tone colors. Anyway, and then I went on to this head. And last, I'm going to try a 1/6 scale head if I do decide to make a 1/6 scale version as well. He's not quite done yet. I still have quite a few hairs left to paint. These hairs that I have painted took hours to do. Just the hairs, okay? Just those blonde streaks, those frosted tips, let alone all the other details. And his eyes are still kind of a work in progress. I don't know if you can tell, but I attempted eyelashes, and I'm not sure what I want to do for that. For this head, the way I painted it was actually upside down, and then just put a little dab of paint on his eyeball and then let gravity just pull the pigment down to create a natural shadow on the top of his eyes and kind of like eyelashes, sort of. So it's actually just concentrated bluish grayish pigment, and then the rest of his eye is just another few layers of blue pigment, and then I put a matte sealer coat over the entire head, and then the eyes I topped off recently with a glaze. I don't think that's going to show up on camera, and I don't think you can tell at all, but his eyes do have a little bit of a shine to them, so they look wet and natural. His pants were probably one of the easier things because I had already tackled that at 1/12 scale or 1/6 scale. And this is the template, the only template I could find so far of his pants. I think this is the one I ended up using, and they turned out pretty good. I used spandex, which is the spandex I was using was very thin, it was very forgiving, and it already looks a lot like the pants do, just without me needing to pattern them. They should have this tiger striping pattern, which I will do at a larger scale for sure. I don't know if I want to bother at this small of a scale because it's so hard to put that small of details on there, and this particular material is actually like mesh, so I tried putting paint on it and it all just kind of goes through the pants. So I'm still deciding how I want to do the pants as far as the pattern goes. But the most recent thing I worked on was his belt. So here's what I have for the plan of his belt. This is the belt buckle. This is what I observed. It's more or less just a basic disc belt. And the belt actually changes from scene to scene. He's not even wearing the same belt. So I thought it would be a good opportunity, and really a lost opportunity if it's not this, to do this symbol, which is the Sabra Jaguar Pride emblem or crest. Maybe it's like a family crest. I don't know that much about the show, but I do know that that's kind of important, and that would make sense to be his belt buckle. And maybe they're trying to imply that that is what it is, even though the prop clearly looks like this to me, not like the Sabra Jaguar Pride symbol. So in order to craft his belt, I've hole punched a bunch of pleather, and then I drew on it with a gold permanent marker. Instead of doing 2 rows of the like eyelets, which is kind of what it looks like in reality, I decided just to do solid circles and call it good for that. That part's turning out pretty good, his belt. And then for his belt buckle, I have a few options so far that I'm playing with. This was my first attempt, and I was just kind of put some texture on there, just kind of fool around with what I could do at that scale. And then I painted it silver to see what that looks like, and then I painted it gold to see what that looks like, because it's supposed to be brass. That's what this material is usually made of with those disc belts. In the show, it's probably made of like brastilium or something. I don't know. I made that up. Anyway, so that's what I got for the belt buckle so far. I recently tried to re-attempt it by doing the actual crest. I'm not sure. I'm going to try my best to zoom in. It's probably not even upright. Actually, maybe it is close. Can I focus? Well, it just looks like a pie. Like an Uncrustables. But just to see, you know, could I put the texture in there? The texture is too deep and too aggressive, I see. And this was just the first attempt. So as backup, I also have just a plain blob. And instead for this one, I would just design digitally the crest however I want it to look, so that it looked exactly how I wanted. And then I would Mod Podge it to this blob, and then glue this blob to the belt for his belt buckle. Oh, did I just put that dent in there? Whoops. Well, it's fine. I just gotta have another layer either way. And then for the back of the belt, I have some Velcro that I hole punched. I initially was thinking about putting that closure in the front for the belt buckle, but I want it to look really clean and good in the front, and instead just have the closure in the back so that it looks nice from the front, which is similar to how I did his vest. This material is only in the front. I have very little of it because it's a swatch. The back is just a scrap material that I happen to have that I'm using for the backside, since you just don't see it. And this coat I'm hoping to redo as well. The main body of his coat, it's very close to being exactly how I want it. I want it to be a little bit wider, and obviously I need to like make that stitching and stuff look prettier, because this was just kind of a rough draft for that. The last thing I plan on working on is his boots, and that's also been the most challenging thing, because there's only one scene that I found where you can kind of really see them at all, and it's impossible to get much detail on the boots. All I can tell is that I've actually drawn them too short. They are about this tall, and they are some form of platform boot, it looks. And I'm trying to figure out if they chose platform boots just so that he was at the same height as Kevin Sorbo, like just for a practical filming reason, or if it's because this species is supposed to be portrayed as tall and James Marsters is very average sized, or if it actually is part of a statement and part of like the character, you know, to have like these Kiss goth platform boots. And the styling of the boot too, is really hard to tell a whole lot about it. And they're black, so they're shadowy, very shadowy, and it's kind of hard to see what's going on with it. So I'm drafting a lot of ideas for how I want to do the boots, and this is only like a few of the ideas I've drafted. Somewhere I have, right here, I have a personal note, so I'll cover that up. an unrelated personal note. This is some of the structure of the boot that I've drafted so far, of ideas of, that's just structure. And right now, the top idea for me has been goth boot. I like the idea of laced. That would be kind of similar to, well, because I also considered doing the boots that are similar to these ones, which is what Spike wears in Buffy. These are just kind of strapped, but I do kind of like the idea of laces. They look, I don't know, intriguing, but the straps would make sense too for the sake of the character, and this character is very similar to another character in the show named, I don't know if it's Tyra or Tyra. I've only seen it written, and I wasn't paying much attention during the actual show. I actually didn't watch a show with the sound on, to be fair. So that is going to be my next endeavor after I finish the boots. I think I will finally start on his blaster, his little laser blaster thing. I'm still deciding if I want to try to attempt to sculpt that at a tiny, tiny scale or not, with trying to sculpt just these belt buckles. And I just practiced on some fruit, and like, I don't know if you can see the detail on these bananas. There's so much dust on them that has collected. It just attracts dust. So trying to overcome that challenge has been some of what I'm working on, but I'm more concerned, since I plan on painting over it, I don't think it's going to show, and obviously we're not eating this or anything. So even if I wore gloves, I don't know how much that would help, because the mat itself, I clean the heck out of this mat. But anyway, the point is, I'm going to attempt to sculpt a few more tiny things, probably. It takes a lot of hard work to make those look as good as they do, and they look horrible. So I might ask to have that 3D printed by somebody. I was seeing a few files of cyber-looking weapons, and the only thing, though, is I do like the design of this weapon, and I don't have the color in here yet. Right here is, I think it's right here, is like there's like gold in it. So that little gold stripe, I can't remember now if it goes all the way out the top. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't really remember. I don't have a reference at the moment. And then this part of the, what's it called? Stock? No, that would be the handle? I don't know. Anyway, that butt. I'm pretty sure it's called a butt. Anyway, that's black, white, gold. So painting it, I think it's going to be easy. It's whether or not I can manage to sculpt it at 1/12 scale and manage to fit it into this little hand effectively, which is also why I chose to do fruits and bananas, because I was like, okay, if I can sculpt this banana to fit, I just need to like go from there, and then maybe I'll have some success. So anyway, tell me what you think. Do you have any thoughts on my boots? Those have been particularly a challenge, or any other thoughts on how I can do better for this project. Or I'm pretty happy with how the head is going to turn out, so maybe not the head, but just trying to work at this tiny, tiny scale is so challenging, but it's so rewarding too. I'm so pleasantly surprised with how well the painting this turned out. I'm not very good with acrylic paint at all. I normally don't paint in acrylic at all. Usually I paint in watercolor. So I use a lot of watercolor techniques and watered down some acrylics, and then kind of use that to my advantage to create sort of these layers of human-ish looking, well, he's technically not human, or maybe he is. Anyway, the point is, it's been fun. But I need to figure out how I'm going to sculpt his boots. And another challenge is, when I took his foot off to see like what kind of peg was underneath, I lost that foot. It disappeared. I haven't seen it. I've looked really hard for it. Can't find it anywhere. The other foot, the whole joint came off. I tried super gluing it together, as you can see. I know where that foot is. But those two challenges have also been frustrating, because I'll have to sculpt the boot as a foot, or buy like a particular type of boot for it to work out, which is fine because at 1/12 scale, that's usually how they do it anyways. So yeah, tell me what you think. Also, check out this fortune I found. Happy Masters Monday, am I right?